I'd now like to introduce you to a couple of people. Simon and Daniel, a.k.a. in the best of Australian traditions, Spud and Westy. I kind of want to find out about the origins of those names. But before we get to that, gentlemen, you describe yourselves as just two ordinary guys. But in October, you're doing something extraordinary that I have a feeling might actually test the limits of your friendship.
It's been tested pretty effectively so far, I've got to say. I mean, we've known each other for 25 years. What hasn't been thrown against the wall in that time, I don't know if there's anything left, actually. So,
how did you hook up in the first place? Where did you become mates?
University.
It was university, yeah.
Okay. University drew you together?
Well, yeah. It was one of those things. We met at uni. We realised that we were similar proponents of chaos, came together to cause a little bit more, got older, realised that wasn't a lifestyle choice, got better. And now when we make chaos, it's all for being agents of radical joy rather than agents of chaos, as we were.
Chaos for good change.
Yes.
All right, which brings us to the point of the relationship being tested by virtue of a car that I hope has a horn that sounds like this.
Not yet.
Not yet, but damn, that's a good sounding horn.
All right, who's going to tell me what you're doing?
Okay. It is, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use the correct terminology. It's a rally.
It's a rally.
It's an S rally.
It's an S-Box rally.
It's an S-Box rally.
For S-Boxes only.
That's correct. The vehicle's not allowed to cost more than $1,500. That means if you bought one for $1,500 and it needed brake pads, you can't buy the brake pads. It's a maximum spend.
Okay.
You've got to drive this car through some of the most outrageous terrains of off-roading that these cars should not go on, because you can't have a four-wheel drive, you can't have utes, you can't have it's got to be an S-Box. So we're driving from Port Douglas to Adelaide. It's going to take, I believe, 10 days. And we are with approximately another 100 to 150 vehicles also doing the same in the name of raising money for cancer.
Spud.
Yes.
How come you've decided to come on this harebrained journey?
Because I know nothing about cars and I like a challenge in life. No, the real reason was we were sitting there going, this is something that we can actually do to get up and do something about raising money for cancer. Because we sat there and within about 20 seconds, I came up with a dozen people from my close-knit family and friends that have gone through cancer, suffered cancer, beaten it, died from it, or affected by it in some way, shape or form. And we were just like, we can actually help out. We live to give. So we sort of thought, it'd be great to have this awesome experience. It's a bucket list for us. But at the same time, we're also doing something really good for the Cancer Council of Australia. It's their biggest fundraiser every year. And, we have to raise $5,000 to start the race. Mm-hmm. It's not a race. Sorry, it's not a race. We're not racing.
Initiative.
The
Journey.
rally. Queensland Police, we're
rally.
not racing anywhere. But the rally, we have to raise $5,000 to start it. Westy and I are hoping to raise $10,000.
Okay.
Just because, why not? We set ourselves a challenge. So, we're hoping to do some good.
All right. ABC Radio Brisbane and Gold Coast is where you find yourself this afternoon at 20 minutes to 1. My name's Kat. I'm with Simon and Daniel, a.k.a. Spud and Westy, about to take off on a S-Box rally in support of the Cancer Council of Australia. You'll be familiar with this event. It is a big event, as you've heard, and it's all in the name of raising funds for cancer. But they need to raise the funds to get the car to get into the race in the first place, and you have until September, lads, to get all of your financial affairs in order. Yes. So if you'd like to find out more about this initiative and support the fellas, look for the Gorilla Collective. Not spelt as in the large ground-dwelling animal, but as in the chaos-making gorilla.
Yeah, the guerrilla tactics. Guerrilla tactics that are involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I want to talk with you about, though, is something that I think is really interesting, because in as much as you're raising money for the Cancer Foundation, it's also Men's Health Week. And I saw that whilst cancer is a leading cause of death and poor health in Australia, 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed with cancer before their 85th birthday. Here we have 2 men.
It's him.
Nearly a third
it's probably me.
of men, nearly a third of men in Queensland will die from cancer. So this is a big, big deal.
Yeah, it's huge.
One of the other big themes of Men's Health Week, however, is this idea of mateship, that men need to kind of do more to connect, to talk about health. And this, I suspect, is something that you don't need any help with, guys.
No, we're pretty good at that. I mean, we've been mates for 25 years, and in that time, it's just been like, if you get to the point of trust where you can say whatever, do whatever. Like I always say that it was Westy's birthday the other day, and I said, this is a guy that would help you out regardless of what sort of crap you're in or what sort of crap person you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. We have this thing where we have always got each other's back. We just know.
There's a code. We've also got a code.
Got a couple of
I'd
codes.
probably recommend this to the listeners as well. And it's Spud's idea years ago. 911. So if I get a text message that says 911, or if he gets one, then it's drop everything, come over. And that's the call. That's the I've had a few other mates who have just started doing that as well. And it's basically, hey, I need you. Something's up, something's not good, I need to talk, whatever the case is. You get a 911, you got to go. You got to go for your mate.
So what is it that stops people from doing that? Why do we keep hearing this idea over and over again, especially on Men's Health Week, that there's something stopping blokes from connecting in the way that you two do?
I think that a lot of the time it's that really rampant individualism where everyone's like, no, I can do this myself, I can manage this myself. And that's a really inwardly directed energy. And what we and the Gorilla Collective are all about is like focusing outwardly and trying to connect out with everybody else. Like if you can help somebody else, you end up helping yourself anyway. And if you're doing that for someone that you love, that's a mate of yours, then even better, because you've got that energy coming back to you, and you actually form that sort of relationship with people a lot easier if you're not focused on yourself and trying to get through it alone. You're trying to help somebody else get through it, and they're trying to help you.
Is it a lack of confidence, though, in the first place? I mean, did it require a bit of confidence building before sending the 911 text, for example?
There's a lot of fear out there, and I'm sure that's where it comes from, where you're afraid of what people think. You're afraid of what people are going to think about you, and you don't want to say particular things or tell anyone your problems or whatever the case is, because you want everyone to think, oh, Westy, you're the great, happy, fun guy, whatever the case is. But really, you shouldn't be worried about what anybody thinks at all. And the people who care about you the most are the ones that are closest to you, and they don't care. They don't care about a thing. They just want you to be happy and want you to be healthy and want you to be well. And we all have this fear about what all these other people think about us. But in the end, it doesn't matter. If you've got a mate, he doesn't care.
You're on ABC Radio Brisbane and Gold Coast. I'm Kat. Simon and Daniel, aka Spud and Westy, are here from the Gorilla Collective, about to hit the road this October in the S-Box Rally for the Cancer Council. Head to the Gorilla Collective on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or through WeGive if you're keen to support them in this harebrained initiative. All in support, I think, we all agree, of a very good cause. You'll be in this car driving from Port Douglas to
Adelaide.
For how long, roughly?
Yeah, about 10 days.
Yeah, about 10
What are you
days.
going to talk about?
Everything.
Don't you think there's something about cars that invite maybe moments
Absolutely.
of shared silence in a nice way?
Well, that
but
too.
profound conversation too.
That too, but the conversation, I think, is the best thing. And, I mean, you might have picked up that we're not shy about talking. We kind of enjoy it a little bit. But on top of that, I always think that it's great for me because when you're in a car, and particularly when Westy's driving, he can't get out. So he's stuck there.
No escape.
I can say whatever I want, and he's just got to live with it or jump out. And if he jumps out, more snaps to him, really. But, that just goes to prove it's like, hating the movie in an airplane so much that you decide to leave. But
I've got to say, no one is ever the same after a road trip. You go on a road trip,
Yeah.
it changes you. It's
It
different.
does, doesn't
no matter
it?
what kind of road trip it is, if it's a group of friends, a couple of cars, or whatever the case is, when you go on a road trip, it's different.
Has someone left their phone on?
no.
Phones off, please. Thank you very much. Okay, well, I'm keen to hear from you on ABC Radio Brisbane and Gold Coast. What is it about a long car ride that invites those kinds of conversations that Spud and Westy are describing this afternoon? It's the intimacy, perhaps. It's the fact, And I wonder, is it because you're side by side instead of face to face?
That too. And I think you've got the direction. There's a long road stretched out in front of you. We're going through outback Queensland, through outback South Australia. There's a long stretch out on either side. It's you in the middle of a lot of emptiness. So a lot of the time for me, it's about filling that. And if not, it inspires that idea of going, it's about perspective.
Yeah.
It's me, tiny little thing here with my mate in the middle of nowhere, and that's when you can sit there and go, okay, so hypothetical question, and some of those hypothetical questions can lead you down a rabbit hole that you just find out a lot about human beings.
So if we're interested in promoting this idea of friendship and mateship, man, woman, whatever, but especially because it is Men's Health Week, and especially because it's coming up again and again every year about this need for blokes to find more friendships than they already have. According to Men's Health Forum, men with mates live longer lives, but 1 in 4 men have no good mates. 1 in 4 men have no good mates. This is a pretty startling statistic.
That's full on.
So maybe thinking about jumping in a car with someone or having a car ride to try and build the intimacy in a way that isn't overly confronting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at any of the S-Box rally videos they've done in the past, the mateship and camaraderie amongst all of the vehicles and everybody trying to achieve this goal, because it's not a race, it's a rally, you see this connection amongst people and they become their own little kind of family and group and so forth. And so I guess we've met lots of people through the different activities we do, and it's about getting out there and doing different activities.
And I think that's really important for blokes as well, because, it's getting out and doing stuff rather than sitting and talking about stuff is something that, to me, seems like it's a really... I don't want to use the word masculine, but
there's a sense of purpose and direction.
Yeah,
is that what you mean?
You've got a point of doing something, and you're out there doing it. You're talking with people about stuff,
farting around. Yeah, okay. Angela at Albany Creek, let me bring you in here now on ABC Brisbane and Gold Coast, because you used to work as a social worker. I'm fascinated about this idea of car journeys, intimacy. What do you know about it, Angela? What's going on?
I used to find that people would open up on a car journey more than they would in any other situation. And I think it was because, A, there wasn't the eye-to-eye contact. There was no pressure on the individual to say anything, because there could be long silences and it didn't matter at all, because we were just driving. And it was before the time of mobile phones where people were looking at a screen. So there was nothing else happening. There was no other pressure, no other distractions, really. And it gave the individual a chance to reflect on where they were at. And I always find when I'm a passenger in somebody else's car, particularly if it's a long journey, it does give that opportunity to think about things and to open up more readily. You've got all that time that you don't normally have, so particularly on a long journey.
Very well put. Angela, thank you. Angela at Albany Creek, 1300 222 612 is the telephone number if you'd like to add your thoughts to this conversation about conversations in cars and how they can be, well, some of the most profound conversations you're ever likely to have in your life. And I think the point that Angela made about the screens is interesting there, isn't it? Because we do have to be so careful. It's like a car is almost one of the few sort of pseudo screen-free spaces that we have left. You
get in trouble
nodding.
if you're on a screen while you're driving these days.
Yeah, exactly. So.
The car also has this, I don't know, there's an element of comfort of some kind of coziness or relax. I don't know. There's something, it's the whole point why people pick their nose when they're at an intersection, right? You look over and you're like, we can all see you. But
no, I'm in a car. I'm invisible.
They seem to feel quite comfortable in this space. So it's, and the car we have is a very comfortable... very comfortable car.
Now listen, this is your S-Box rally car.
Yes.
So can paint me a word picture. What does it look like?
Well, Westy found the car. It was literally a little old lady called June down at
down the Gold Coast.
Down the Gold Coast, and who was going into a care facility, and she sold us the car for $700. So we have a $700 car that we're driving almost 3,200 kilometres in. But it's a 94 Mitsubishi Magna.
Now, it's one owner since original. So it's only got 70,000 on the clock.
It's in mint condition.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, no. The mint condition part, hang on. It has 2 panels without dents and scratches. No, one, I think.
One. Miss June was
maybe one.
a bit of a derby driver herself.
It actually looks like it's hit every car in the car park, and I think that's why they took the car off her. I'm not sure.
Right,
but
It must have been very aggressive.
they kept the inside perfect. You know how they used to have the plastic on the doors kind of thing?
Yes.
I think it
That's
must
still
have, because
there?
it's just still so perfect inside. And you open the engine, open the hood for the engine. It's the battery's not even a year old. It is in perfect condition.
All right.
Let's see how far we
So
go.
you'll make it to the other end, we hope, provided you raise the funds you need. So one last time, if you'd like to get behind Simon and Daniel, a.k.a. Spud and Westy, from the Guerrilla Collective, GUERRILLA Collective, then look for them through WeGive, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. You could, of course, go to the SBox Rally website and find them with the other fabulous teams entering. So you have until the end of September. So hop on, support the guys and everyone else as soon as you can. And chookers for October for when you hit the road, lads.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Kat.
you.
Thank you very much. I'll leave you with the words of Dawn Louise, who writes, "A road trip in the outback gives you space in your brain to process things that you struggle with at home. It is the best kind of therapy." Dawn Louise, thank you very much.